Well, hello, it's Wednesday, so it must be time for Woolly Hat's Wednesday Whips. This is my weekly ramblings on my knitting and crochet projects, and the project I finished this week, which I'm very proud of, is my cable hat. There. So that's lovely. The wool is from my holiday, and you might have seen that on a post of mine or other things on social media. I found a lovely shop in Stornoway when we were on holiday in the Isle of Lewis, and when I went inside, I was immediately drawn to the undyed yarn that was on display in the middle of the shop, and I got talking to the owner of the shop, which is called Wool for You, with a 4 instead of a FOR, and U is EWE. And she told me that the yarn that I was looking at came from sheep, which was grown in her croft, and it was a mix of Hebridean and Cheviot bluefaced Leicester cross, so 2 types of sheep. And I felt it. Well, I couldn't feel it because I had the gloves on, but it looked absolutely gorgeous. And this is the double knit cross that I was looking at. She did have some white yarn and some darker yarn, but I thought this was quite a good mix. And because it was a mix of Cheviot and also Hebridean, it's a nice mix and great for making a hat, because Cheviot's nice and soft, Hebridean's quite soft, but it's also waterproof, which is amazing. So it's ideal for a hat, especially in days like we're having today, where it's a bit drizzly and you don't want necessarily to wrapped up in like a ghoul or whatever. So I thought that was really good. So really good yarn, and I thought, well, it's a nice present, nice reminder of my holiday in Stornoway, and it will be a good thing to do. So I got back home and I've got several projects on the go. I thought, no, I need to make this hat. So I found this pattern, which was in the knitter. So this is by Juliet Bernard, and she used a Cheviot wool. So I thought, well, this has got Cheviot in it, so this will do. So I did it, and it was great. And it took me two or three evenings last weekend. I love doing cable. I started doing cable in the 80s when I was in my 20s, and I knitted myself an aran jumper, and it was lovely. But I did grow out of it, sadly. A lot of people associate aran knitting with quite rough wool, and actually aran as a wool can be anything. So it can be cotton, it can be wool, it can be alpaca, it can be linen. There's all kinds of things nowadays, so do have a root around, and you can find the kind of content for whichever project you want. So as I said, this is a good one because it's waterproof, so it's nice for a hat. It would be good for probably a jumper, which you'll want to wear outside as well. It's very warm, so if you did do a jumper, it would have to be for the really cold days that we get in winter, or if you want to go to Norway or Iceland or somewhere like that. So that was that. So yes, so aran knitting. When I first started to knit aran, all the patterns were written out, stage by stage. So each line was cable 3, blah blah blah, knit or purl, whatever. So you did have to pay attention. But the patterns I first started doing were quite short, repetitive patterns, so it was quite easy to get into it, and they weren't too complicated. But patterns nowadays have handy little charts. So I find these really useful. Some people find them complicated, but I'm quite a visual person, so I quite like the way it's done there. So that handy little chart turns out to be the hat, which is great. So do give it a try, and something like a hat or a sock or a pair of fingerless mitts is a great way to try out some cable. And if you fancy some tuition, then I will be doing next steps in knitting starting the first week in November for 4 weeks if you want to have a go. So do contact me if you're interested in that. We'll cover all kinds of things that will advance your knitting, from cable, colour work, texture work and shaping. So hopefully we'll have fun. Very much led by the people who are in it, so I choose the projects that people like to do, and hopefully they will come away with something to inspire their knitting. So if you do want to have a go at that, then please give me a message. So I think that is all for me this week, apart from what do I do next? Well, I've got all my other projects, but this is something else I bought on holiday for Mr. W, and he says he would like some nice socks in these, so I might sneak these in between the other things that I'm doing. But I do have 3 projects to do, 4 projects to do for Christmas, so time is passing, so I might need to get a shufty on with those as well. That's all from me this week. Hope you're having a nice time, and I'll see you next week. Bye.